Hey everybody, welcome to Bambino's Corner. Welcome to today's podcast, episode 2. Not to be confused with 22 with the two sets of fingers, but we're going to be talking about depression and how gamers usually, cope with it and what their methods are, as well as, how they handle it outside of gaming and, various other portions of that discussion. So definitely stay tuned in this next coming portion. So today's discussion is depression. What is it? How does it make you feel like? And what are ways to cope with it? Joining me today are yet again Wolf Dawn and of course Angel herself. Welcome to the show, guys.
Feedback.
Thank you.
Now, to you guys, what do you think depression is, and how would it if you guys suffer from it? How does it make you guys feel normally? And what are ways that you guys cope with it?
It's all you, man. You first.
Oh, you want me to go first? Okay. I've had depression early in my childhood, back when I was maybe like 13, 12, but recently it hasn't really been a big problem for me. But for me, depression was like in a state of mind where I didn't really, care about myself, and I thought I was like crap and stuff.
Kind of like how I felt earlier.
Yes, exactly like.
Like it feels like you've been defeated, like you suck at life, and you just want to be in a corner and just kind of die in that corner.
Every day, every time I lose a rank game, that's what it feels like.
Oh my god.
Okay, it's your turn, Angel.
You're asking me what depression is, or how does
how does it make you feel? What is your definition of it, and how does it make you feel?
My depression makes me feel like shit, like I want to kill myself. And I've had that for about 11 years now. The way I cope with it, I used to not be able to cope with it. I used to just have to deal with it, especially in where I lived. I used to live in a really bad area. Sorry, I have a baby in my lap.
It's all right.
I used to have to deal with it with my own family. My mother was the reason why I was depressed. Her and her husband. Now how I deal with it, I actually see a doctor who's helping me, and I take medication for it. I would have really bad anxiety attacks, and I've had suicide attempts. So it's just not good, man. It's not good.
I agree.
11 years of depression. And it's 11 years of depression. It just doesn't go away. People have this stigma saying like, oh, you're just feeling down, you'll get over it. It's not that. It's not just feeling down. It's feeling like literally like your whole life has turned upside down. Like you don't even have a life anymore. And it's like they think you can get over it like it's just a feeling, but it's not. It's something. It's like a chemical reaction in your brain. Understand? They think, oh yeah, you'll get over it. You're just you think your life's bad. Look at everybody else's. Like everybody has bad lives. Okay, just some people have depression, some don't.
Yeah, like me, I've been suffering from it since I was 12, and it's definitely been rough. And paintball was kind of my way of being able to cope with it, since I was able to get out, I was exercising, and on top of that, I had something to look forward to. Managing a team, playing competitively, like that really pulled me out of that dark spot in my teenage years. And then ever since then, it's been mostly video games primarily that have been helping me cope, like League. Ever since I was introduced to League, it's really given me something to really try and not suck at.
Yeah, like me, the way I'd have to cope with it was also online gaming. That's how I met my friends, because where I live, I literally was not allowed to have friends outside of my house, and nobody was my friend in the house. So the only friends I had were online. I became my friends and became the people who supported me through what I was going through. Definitely the dark times. I had my online friends. But there were times when there's people who cut off the internet, and that's the thing. That was my outlet. The internet is my outlet even today. It's a way for me to get away from everything, for me to just take back control of myself. That's why gaming, I control the character. That means I can control my life, and it also means I don't have to be myself. I can be someone else. Like that's why I like RPGs as well. I can be someone else. I don't have to be me.
I can be whoever I want to be.
be the president of Nigeria, and that's fine with me.
And definitely, I mean, that's the beauty of online gaming, and especially MMOs. You can make a character, and you can make them in your image of how you wish you could be, or like Eve. Like, think about it. Eve Online, it's like you are whoever you deep down inside want to be. It doesn't have to be who you are every day.
It's like Albion too. Like when we played Albion, we could be who we wanted to be. I could be Elizabeth Bathory, and people would actually believe me. Like, I can be a different person online. I don't have to be who I am in real life. But, just like, there was a time here when we lost internet, and I was just literally in bed all the time. I didn't want to get up, didn't want to do anything. Medication wasn't working.
Yeah. See, that's been another thing. It's like, medication it's for some people. Sometimes it helps, but me, I've always been the one. It's like, I don't want to be medication. I don't want to be a mindless zombie or whatever the case may be. I want to still be me, but I want to. I don't want just a substitute for you. I don't want it's like trying to put duct tape on a leak in the roof. You don't want to just patch it up. I want to actually just hit it head on and figure it out.
Yeah, let me stop you right there, though. Like, I can understand what you're seeing. There's a stigma against medication as well. That's how you think this is going to make you feel. Before, I was depressed when I was just myself. And after, living in basically hell and then trying to leave and getting thrown back in, it just basically made me somebody who I didn't want to be. So I'm always angry. I'm always taking it on people that I actually care about. So medication actually helps me become me. It doesn't numb me out. The only thing that when I'm irritated and I'm angry, I can't stop. I feel like the Hulk. I can't stop. I just want to hit somebody. I want to yell at everybody. It's serious. So they have to give me medication to mellow me out because that's me. I want to be mellow. Like right now, I'm on medication. It's mellowing me out. This is me. This is who I want to be.
Yeah, it's kind of like me when earlier today, I was feeling really down about life and out, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go to the room and I'm just going to be myself and do something different for a little while and kind of regather my thoughts here,
Medication that I finally got to, at this moment, has mellowed me out. I'm not angry anymore, which I am very thankful for. This new doctor I see listens to what has gone on in my life, everything.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like I definitely need a therapist or something, but I mean, thinking that here, sitting here thinking about other ways that help me is I think writing actually helps out a bit because I can write like my own fantasy world, or it kind of mellows me out, kind of calms me down, lets me disappear into another world, almost like games do, for example.
She's kind of like a therapist. She listens. She's an actual doctor. She's there to prescribe, but she listens. I've been to doctors
who don't care.
Yeah, I'm just like, I don't want to get out of bed. I'm feeling depressed. I'm like, okay, how about I just prescribe you this, okay? This doctor's like, okay, and how did that make you feel? Okay, what happened then? And she actually wanted to listen to what happened, why, what actually caused me to get to the point that I was now. 11 years without being treated is serious.
Yeah.
That's why once you start feeling depressed, no matter where you live, if you my father and I told him, you need to get me the fuck out this house or else that's it. You're not going to have a daughter. That was just the worst time in my life. Living with my mother was the worst time of my life.
And see, there's probably a lot of, young adults, teenagers, and even, older adults that probably feel the same way you do. They feel like they're stuck. They're in a situation that they just can't get out of.
And this is what I have to tell them. Tell somebody. Tell somebody what you're feeling. Don't be scared. Especially the underage. If you're underage, there's the whole stigma of I'm going to get placed in a foster system, or I'm going to get in trouble. Nobody's going to listen to me. To be honest, the cops, from my experience with my stepbrother, the cops just don't care. Most of them don't care. The way I see it is, tell your teachers, tell your counselors. My counselors didn't give a fuck about how I was feeling, but keep telling people. I've told my counselors, look, I'm having a really shitty day at home. I'm having a bad time at home. They didn't care. My advice would be keep telling people. Even if you have to call the cops and say, look, I'm just not, this is not, and they're going to try to scare you. That's the thing. You try to tell a cop, they're going to tell you, like, you're not having a bad life. Why? Because your mom's trying to discipline you? No, she's not disciplining me. Okay, there's things about people, like, if the internet was my way to cope with what I was going through, then that's what I needed. And this was back then too, so the stigma of being put into a mental facility and stuff like that was always scary to me, because I was like, man, they're gonna put me in there and then I'm never gonna get out. And that's what my mom made me believe. I always find, like, even try to, like, reach out to a different a different family member, say, hey, this isn't working out. Like, I mean, I went to go live with my dad for 3 months, and it wasn't any better, but it was away from what I was at. I was at least trying to get away, but I was 18. The damage was already done. But, I say, if you're starting to show signs of depression, anxiety, seek help. There are people that stay in their rooms because of so much anxiety.
That is just overwhelming. It's just to the point where you're like, why even leave the room at this point?
No, I mean, there's, like, for me, like, I have so much anxiety that I don't want to come out my room, because, like, when I lived with my mom, I literally felt like my room, if I left it, I would be entering hell, and anything could have happened. That's why I always stayed in my room. I just on about this subject, man.
I mean, it's definitely a rough subject, and I mean, Wolfdog, what's your input on it? What's your advice and suggestions in regards to being able to cope with depression, and how you've been able to find ways to?
Well, I actually have a question for Wolfdog. Like, you say you're like you're feeling down. Like, is there something that triggered your depression? Like,
back when I was probably in middle school, I wouldn't say I was, like, really bullied like some people are, but I was bullied back in school, and it kind of made me especially sad, especially when you're bullied as a child. It kind of makes you seem like what's wrong with yourself. Like,
yeah.
A lot of people, and really, like all y'all said, games really helped me back then, because it gave me some enjoyment out of life. It gave me I can go home. Especially during school, like, if you're having a rough day at school, you can kind of think about, like, hey, I just gotta get through this day, I can go home and just kind of relax, have a way out of everything.
Yeah. Yeah, something to look forward to, on a more positive note, because, you get home, it's like, all right, now I can disappear in my own world.
Yeah, and, it's, like, really, for me, I've never, like, really wanted to go to a therapist, especially when my mom, dad, my grandparents always tried me into a therapist, and I just always told them no, because it just seemed weird to me, like, going to a random stranger and, like, telling them my problems. Like, I'd rather just, cope with myself.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if it hasn't I feel like if it hasn't manifested to the point where you can't basically function, like if you feel like you don't really need that, if you feel like you can still function, then you don't need to see, like, they just want you to talk about it. You can talk about this with your friends. You don't need to see a professional. You don't need to do that, okay? Like, you can talk about your friends, say, hey, my mom died and it's just rough, and and just talk about it. You never know. Maybe one of your friends lost a family member, lost his grandfather, and it hurt him, and it took a toll on him. So you can talk about that to him, like friends, and you guys can get through it together.
Not even that. You want to talk about? I mean, losing grandfather is one thing, but losing a friend that you've known your whole life. Just one day you just find out, it's like, yeah, he's dead, he's not coming back. It's like, I remember that day, all I did was cry and cry and cry, and every time somebody asked, it's like, what's wrong? I would just keep crying because of it, trying to wrap it in my head. It's like, he's gone, he's not coming back anymore. And I used to spend every holiday or vacation with him. Like, it's just it's destructive. It's heartbreaking. I didn't know what to do. That was just like, words can't even describe it.
And we all cope with it differently. I mean, and especially if this is somebody you just talked to, and then the next day they're gone. How is that possible? I don't believe it. And then, like, that's why they have those stages of going through the grieving process. But sometimes we skip stages.
Yeah.
Sometimes it stays with you, but you become stronger from the things that have happened to you. I do have a question for you, Rygol. When did your depression start? Like, what was your trigger as well?
At the age of 12, when my dad worked 18-wheeler long haul all the time. I never got to saw him, and I felt like that was a part of my life that was disappearing because I missed him so much. It's just, and then once I actually lived with him, it was the best moment because it's like I really got to know who he was and realized that he would never lie to me. So it's like, yeah, I'm glad that I could get to know him better eventually, but I don't know, I felt alone. Usually that's how I feel when I get depressed. I feel alone. I feel like I'm worthless, like nothing I do is perfect, or I'll never be good enough at anything. Almost like Leak sometimes. Sometimes I feel like it's like, well, I'm never going to be gold material. I'm never going to be this. I'm just not worthy enough.
Mindset that gets you to put into your head, like, and it just manifests, and it just keeps going and going. And I just gotta tell you something, like, the thing is for me, I feel like that when I was playing Overwatch, I was silver, and I was like, I really want to be gold. Like, what do I do to get better? And that's what your mindset has to be. What do I do to get better? Do I watch more videos? Do I practice more? And I went from silver to gold.
Do I become the next faker god?
I was going up the ranks in Overwatch, and some people were like, oh, Overwatch is easy. No, it takes skill, it takes teamwork. If your team doesn't want to cooperate, the whole shit falls apart. It's like League. One person doesn't want to cooperate, though your whole team can and will fall apart, And that's what you gotta do. Is like, what could I do better? How could I have carried that better? How could, you gotta analyze it from all points. Should I keep watching more videos on how to play a certain, do I need to learn the different counters? Like, what am I doing wrong?
Is there a different meta? Is there a different item build I should be doing? Different rune setup? Different way of going about with map control? I mean, there are thousands of possibilities.
Yeah, and that's the thing with League. They have all these items. Like, if you build the wrong item, that can be your downfall. Or if you build the right items and the enemy decides, hey, I can see what you're building.
Like
I'm
building
gonna go ahead and counter that.
Like building a hardened sensor on a Zed.
Do against that. Like, if you're building like ADC, you're going straight attack speed, for example. What if somebody decides to, counter that with what? I knew that there was an item that decreases your attack speed. What did you do?
Frozen Heart.
Oh yeah.
But back to the subject of depression. Sorry, we went off a whole different topic. Deal with it differently, and depression can manifest into a lot of different things. Depression can be anger, depression can turn into anxiety, depression can just be, like, I feel like if you want to kill yourself, there is a hotline. There is a hotline, like, and they will listen to you. If you're, like, you can even call in anonymously, and they'll still listen to you. They'll try to help you through it. And I feel like for anybody who wants to kill themselves, there is always something else out there. This is just a period of your life that you need to get through. Because if I would have killed myself when I was 17, I would not have I would not have my daughter. I would not have my husband, who actually helps me. He understands I'm depressed. He understands I have anxiety. And he gets me through shit. And I wouldn't have what I wanted. I wouldn't be able to play video games. I wouldn't be able to watch the things I want to watch. Like, I mean, there's so many animes out there. I'm an anime lover. If I died, I wouldn't be able to have seen Sword Art Online. I wouldn't have been able to see what's another one? Item? Things out there that can, basically, you're going through a rough patch. There's always something else out there to help you, Like, can we just go ahead and just let everybody know that we're all related here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all related. Angel's my sister. And Wolf Dawn is our cousin. So, depression is not genetic. It doesn't have to be genetic. It doesn't have to be, inherited. It's not even learned. It's just it's just like any, sometimes you have your great days, sometimes you have your bad days, just like anything, just like a relationship, just like, on a test at school. I mean, the best thing to do is just roll through the punches, just like in boxing, get yourself back up and keep on swinging. Never give up.
Find something to basically be an outlet for you, not something that's going to harm you, and not something that's illegal. Video games, because video games is our outlet. Video games is not illegal. We do it. It helps us, we put our energy. It's about energy. You put your energy into something, you're not thinking about, wow, that made me depressed. Or, well, especially a lot of people, they have to go to 9-to-5 jobs, pay the bills. Living in America is expensive, man. You gotta pay for health care.
Yeah, and especially like
You know, that can be stressful. That can be, you know,
There's
that can
always
trigger
bills.
depression as well.
Yeah, there's always bills no matter where you go. It's the unfortunate truth about life as we know it.
What's the next round of questions, Rygol?
Yeah, I mean, that sounded like a good discussion right there. So everyone remember, you know, there is a hotline, there is a way to cope with it, and ways
Here,
around
you know,
depression.
hold on. I feel like my story was like the longest. Can we get like Wolf on?
It was a
Say
very
long
detailed
story?
one. It was a very detailed one.
especially like as a stigma around video games, where you know you're never gonna just playing video games. You're never gonna get away from like you're never gonna get it like anywhere in life, and that really draws people away from video games, especially.
But see, video games that was back then. But now, I mean, there's a huge esports, you know, following. There's a huge, you know, it's not, video games aren't just something just to pass up the time, waste time, like a lot of people are used to seeing it. Now it's, if video games help you with your depression and you being down all the time, and you're actually, you know, you actually enjoy it and you're committed enough to really put some effort into it, you could really push yourself to become you know, a top tier professional gamer. Like, look at Marine King in StarCraft. He's one of my favorite StarCraft players. I mean, Marine King started off, his parents didn't approve of him playing StarCraft. And, you know, they used to take away the keyboard, take away the mouse, because that's what, from an article I read, that's literally what kept him sane. Because he hated school, he hated anything of life. And so he literally, video games was his sanction. It was his sanctuary. And I remember reading that he played every day, and once he went to his first professional tournament, his father, who was so against video games, saw him play his heart out and win second place at that first tournament. His dad then followed into coaching him, because after that he understood how much gaming on a professional level meant to his son. So instead of him crucifying it as something negative, he actually turned around and it's like, you know what? I've been ignoring my son's pleas for you know, a desire to have a purpose. So now his dad coaches him on. His dad learned all the strategies and, you know, the capabilities of units, and coaches him on how to be a stronger player in 1v1 StarCraft competitive play. And I mean, all it takes, just like with anything, whether, let's say it's not video game, let's say you want to be a famous actor or a writer or whatever it is, you want to be a doctor, you just need to talk to people. You know, let them know how you feel so that way they understand you, and then you'd be surprised. People will turn around and support you 100% of the way. All right, everyone, and of course, that's our podcast for the week. Thank you, Wolf Don. Thank you, Angel, for joining us on the show today. And for everyone else, make sure to check out our Patreon page as well as our YouTube channel. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll catch you guys next time.